Good afternoon, children. I'm back with another story. This is Bank Holiday Monday, 2020, 31st of August. I hope you're having a lovely day with your families, all of you. So this is for Jude, Abraham, Jad, Orich Mary, Emaya Rose, and all the other little children. We have one especially because Jude has a grandfather who is back with Jesus now, some time. He was Irish, and this is called The Pot of Gold, an Irish folk tale. I haven't read it before, so I don't know the story either. It is from this book, 5 Minutes Stories, a collection by Miles Kelly. The Pot of Gold. Neil O'Leary was sitting on a gate in the sunshine, daydreaming quite happily, when tick, 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 he became aware of a sharp sound coming from the field behind him. Now what on earth can that be? Neil wondered to himself. It is too loud to be a grasshopper, and it's too quiet to be a bird. Tick, 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 it went. Neil O'Leary swung his legs over the gate and turned around. He blinked in astonishment. There, in the long grass of the field, was the tiniest man Neil had ever seen, no higher than his boot. The tiny man had his back to Niall, but Niall could see that he was dressed all in green, with a long white feather in his cap. A tiny leather shoe lay before him on a rock, and he was banging away at it with a tiny stone hammer. Niall's eyes lit up. A leprechaun! A real live leprechaun! Niall licked his lips greedily. Every tiny leprechaun had a huge pot of gold hidden somewhere, and as everybody knew, if you caught hold of a leprechaun, and squeezed him tightly enough, he would have to tell you where his treasure was buried. Quietly, Niall O'Leary got down from the gate. Tick, 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 went the leprechaun's hammer. Quietly, Neil O'Leary crept through the grass. Tick, 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 went the leprechaun's hammer. I'll just show you the picture. See the picture? Okay. So quietly, Neil O'Leary reached out with his large, meaty hands. Gotcha! Cried Neil O'Leary, and he squeezed and squeezed the wriggling leprechaun with all his might. Ooh! Cried the leprechaun. Let me go, you big bully! Tell me where your gold is and I will, boomed Niall. I can't tell you anything while you're squeezing the breath out of me, the leprechaun gasped, looking rather purple. Oops, sorry, blustered Niall, and relaxed his grip. That's better, wheezed the leprechaun, taking gulps of air. Now put me down, and I promise I'll show you where my gold is hidden. A broad grin spread across Niall's face as he lowered the leprechaun back down to the grass. A leprechaun can't break his promise, he chuckled. No, grumbled the leprechaun rather crossly, and my gold is buried under here. He leapt a few steps into the middle of the field and pointed at a clump of dandelions. You'll need a spade, mind, the leprechaun added thoughtfully. You'll have to dig quite a way down. The owl's face fell. But I haven't got a spade with me, he said glumly. What shall I do? Why don't you tie your handkerchief around the dandelions so you don't forget where the gold is buried? The leprechaun suggested. Then hurry back home and fetch a spade. I promise on my word of honour that I won't untie the handkerchief. The owl's face brightened once again. Oh, what a great idea, he beamed. He fumbled in his pocket, brought out a rather grubby red silk handkerchief and tied it around the clump of dandelions. It waved at him in the breeze like a cheerful flag. Oh, thank you, Mr. Leprechaun, the owl remembered to say politely. You've been mighty helpful. Then, in a few strides, he was back over the gate and away home, humming merrily. As soon as Niall had grabbed the biggest spade he could find in the garden shed, he set off back to the field at once. All the way down the lane, he daydreamed of what he would do with the gold. But when Niall O'Leary reached the gate, he stopped stone still, and his mouth hung open. He dropped the spade and scratched his head. Oh, blow me down, gasped Niall. All over the field, thousands of red silk handkerchiefs were tied onto clumps of dandelions and fluttering in the breeze. And Niall could hear the sound of leprechaun laughter floating over the grass on the wind. So Niall O'Leary never got his pot of gold after all. But that is how he came to own the most successful silk handkerchief shop in Ireland. That is the end of that story today, children. That was rather fun, wasn't it? Even I didn't know that story. It's very clever, isn't it? Yes, so next time we'll have another story from maybe soon. The next one in the book is The Ogre's Bride. So that sounds like so look forward to seeing you. Love you all. God bless. Bye bye. Nana Janet saying bye bye.